All right, welcome back to the screen, folks. Imagine you are managing capacity across multiple delivery stations. Suddenly, you receive dozens of ad hoc requests to increase or decrease a capacity for different time slots. Okay, now the real question begins: which station is impacted? How many orders are affected? Are we above or below the S&OP plan, which is your supply chain operations plan? And the most importantly, which request needs action right now? In this tutorial, I'm going to take a real world supply chain scenario and build an Excel capacity tracker from completely scratch with automated calculations, variance analysis, impacted orders, and management dashboard. So let's build it. Let's first understand the business problem over here. Okay, we have multiple delivery stations, different time slots, capacity, current capacity, planned S&P capacity, and incoming ad hoc capacity request. Okay, for example, if a station currently has a capacity of 500 units, but the requested capacity is that 650, that's the capacity increase of 150 units. Okay, but that's not the only thing we need to know. We also need to understand how many orders are impacted, whether the new capacity is aligned with a S&P operations, and any action is required from us. And this is exactly where Excel can turn a simple raw data dump into a powerful operational tracker. Cool. So here you can see on the screen, this is the blank Excel for me. And here I'm going to use this particular fields over here. Okay, what are the fields? So fields are like this. Okay, you can take the screenshot if really needed. Okay, date, week, requester, slot date, delivery stations, slot time, current capacity, capacity to be set, request, S&P capacity, units impacted, S&P variance, capacity change, and couple of we are going to add as a formula driven over here. Okay, so here since we have already added this, I'll just do a control X from here and I'll simply paste it over here. Okay, let me just do a control C again, control Alt V, and I'll do a transpose over here, and that's how I have fit this particular requirement over here. Perfect. Now I can see this field has been matched as per the requirement over here. I'll just do a delete over here and let me just delete this as well, and let's adjust this headers at the top over here. Perfect. And I'll just do a control B over here and I'll change this to this particular color code, which is darkest blue, and this is the white color over here. Perfect. I'll just do a scroll down at the bottom and I'll apply a border over here. Cool. And I can see what I have added over here. Once again, date, week, requested details, slot date, delivery station, slot time. Okay, current capacity, capacity to be set, request, S&P, supply chain and operations capacity, units impacted, supply chain and operations variance, so on and so forth, right? And at the end, you see over here, this is the priority where you can also add high, medium, and low kind of priority over here, and you can just filter it out over here. And I'll call this as a capacity tracker over here, folks. Okay, this is my capacity tracker. So once it is done, now what I need over here is I need to plug in some sort of information over here, right? So to get that added up, what I will do over here is simply paste certain data over here to save our time over here. Cool. And once I do it, you can see this information will look like this over here. So this is the date, week, requested date over here, slot date is this, delivery station is this, and if I go next over here, I can see this formula available over here. Okay, which is the if condition over here. What I'm saying over here, if H3 is greater than your G3, right, which is your capacity to be set, okay, is higher than your current capacity, then show me as a decrease, okay, or otherwise as a no change over here. And that's how we have added as a nested if over here. If you see it over here, right, I'll just move ahead here and I can see over here I have added the variances over here, right? So capacity to be set over here and S&P capacity over here, and this is the variance. I can see it over here. The moment you see this kind of numbers over here, simply go here, press Ctrl 1, change this number format over here. I'll simply select on this option and I'll select this particular option over here and I'll change this over here. You see how beautifully whatever it's in minus, I can see those values in the red over here, right? I'll just move next over here. Again, the same logic, I'll apply it over here as well. Press Control 1 over here, go at the top, and let's change this to this. Perfect. And I can see how beautifully whatever is in minus, those will automatically show in a red over here. Cool. And once it is done, I'll just check the action taken available over here. And you can see approved, escalated, implemented, and pending over here. Cool. So I'll just simply click on this option. Text that contain approved, for me it's a green. I'll just do it this green. Text that contain, let's say, pending for me. Okay, so let's say pending. This is the red for me. Perfect. And implemented, suppose I want to keep this implemented as it is. And if I go at the top, escalated. Okay, so escalated, I want to make sure that color code would be different for that. The same typing you have to do it over here, otherwise it will not really reflect it though. Okay, so escalated is like this, and I'll ensure that this time I'll change this color. Okay, custom format over here, and I'll change this. Perfect. And I can change this particular color code over here and OK button over here. And I can see how beautifully I have changed this formatting over here. I'll go next over here and I can see this is the request raise date and time. I can see over here how you have to add over here. Simply press Control and this, which is your semicolon, and then once again Control plus Shift over here. Control Shift and then add the semicolon over here. You will get a time accordingly added over here. So that's how you can beautifully add date and time accordingly over here. Here is the statuses. You can see it over here. What is the formula? The formula is very simple over here. You can see it. This is the nested if condition. If you see over here, it's aligned. Okay, if it is 0, it's aligned. Otherwise it's a greater than 0, it will show as a above, below. Okay, and that's how I can see the entire three statuses over here. Cool. And here, as promised, we can see this is the critical, low. Okay, you can see it over here. And simply I'll just say text that contain low is this, which is a green for me. Okay, I'll just go here and let's say high. High is a critical for me. I'll just keep it like this, and even a critical. Okay, so let's say critical. Okay, and critical I want to keep in a red itself. Okay, so let's go here again and change this formatting, and I can see this is the critical available over here, and I'll make sure that my medium is will keep it like this only. Perfect. So once it is done, what I will do over here is I'll just add one dashboard view over here. Okay, so to get the understanding or maybe get the leadership view over here, but prior that, make sure that you will be keeping the size for this entire data set like 8 over here. So it will look like a MIS executive is working on this particular report over here. Okay, so ensure that you are keeping a size like this, and let's say centrally aligned properly. Cool. Perfect. So since now we did this with the raw data set over here, as promised, we're gonna create a dashboard over here. Prior that, we just have to simply convert this entire data into a table over here. Okay, and I'll go at the top. I'll just uncheck this. Okay, so my table will neat and clean over here. Only the changes, I have to go here at the top and let's say capacity tracker. Okay, so I just now change this name over here, which is capacity underscore tracker over here, and hit the enter button, and I can see the change over here, which is my tracker, daily operations tracker, where we go there and update this details over here. Since we want to share this to management, okay, so not really sharing this entire raw dump there, we have to create a dashboard and we have to share that accordingly. Okay, so let me just ask this to the Copilot over here. Okay, so here I'll just say I have a table for S&P, S&OP, Okay, so this is the basic verbiage I'm typing over here. Capacity tracker, need executive summary dashboard in next tab. Okay, so I can present to leadership every week call. Cool. Also add insights. So basic English I have typed over here. It's not as a prompt we have typed over here. Okay, it's a very basic understanding and the insights we have typed over here. Okay, so let's see what is the result we get it over here. Okay, you either go with a manual. Okay, you can just simply create a tab. Okay, you just have to simply add a new sheet and go there, create a pure table, and you can simply do that. Or maybe you can just use a count a function and do a appropriate calculation. But since we have the option available called Copilot, we can simply leverage this facility called Copilot, and basis our requirement we can get our work done through the Copilot over here. Once again, if in case you don't have this Copilot installed in your Office 365 folks, what you have to do, you have to simply save this file first on a desktop. First save it. Okay, go to copilot.microsoft.com. Okay, the moment you visit that, simply use the same prompt there. Okay, but here you have to just do a one quick there. You have to say please find the attached file. Okay, and refer only the attached file, and then this particular prompt you can simply add that, and then you will get the same result, whatever result we are expecting over here right now. Okay, so there is a no hiccups that I don't have this particular option available, so I am not able to really build it. Okay folks, so if in case you are a data analyst, MIS executive, and who want to build their career in the data field folks, this is a complete guide for you to understand how to get our work done, face the challenges. If there is nothing in place available, you do a R&D our own and get this generated for ourselves over here, right? And here I can see it's a building a executive summary for me. The tracker covers 50 week 32 request over here across 8 stations. So it's creating a live executive dashboard for 4 headline KPIs, formula driven insights, and action alignment, charts, station exposure, and top 5 critical watch list. Lovely. I can see that, and I believe it will create a good dashboard for me. Okay, so I'm just waiting and hoping for it to get that created for me. And the moment I can see over here, it's generating something over here. Okay, so I've just now switched my tab over here, and let's see on a real-time basis what type of dashboard is been getting generated by the Copilot over here. Cool. At the top you see this is the option called Claude AI inside the Excel folks. Okay, if in case you are a fan of Claude AI, okay, you can also use Claude 2 while creating a dashboard like this. Okay, I majorly use Copilot because Copilot I feel very safe in terms of data. Okay, so I go with a Copilot, but complete your call. If in case you are not really happy with the Copilot, whatever functionality they do, simply switch it and use any other AI. It's complete your call. Even the ChatGPT for that matter, right? You can use the ChatGPT as well folks. Cool. So the data has been plotted over here. Again, the best part of Copilot is that you will get a appropriate the formulas where it's getting calculated. Okay, so you can see that options there. Okay, so let me just see what type of calculation it's making, and if in case that particular chart is not really helpful for me, what I will do, I will simply change that chart. Okay, and that's very basic ask if in case we really want to do, right? And I can see it's getting generated for me, and lovely. I can see over here it's been beautifully deployed over here, right? There is a nothing we are doing here manually. Only the thing is that we have added the fields, which is a required field, and that's the essence, right? Because requirement is in our hand, that's not in Copilot to decide. Okay, so once again, majority people have the misconception in their mind, right, that job is getting replaced, or maybe the people get replaced. The simple answer, and whatever I have observed so far, people are not really getting replaced, but the work whatever we are doing, those are modernized for sure. Okay, so whatever we were doing earlier, which is a manual task, right now been picked by AI. Okay, but the whatever conditions, whatever instructions we have to give to Copilot, then only it will generate a information. Otherwise, it will not really generate. Okay, so upgrade yourself, folks. Okay, if in case you want to learn more about this and you are interested to get a certified with a discover talent, okay, feel free to comment in the below section certification. We can help you with the URL. You can simply go there and enroll yourself. And in the best practice, you can also learn with a data sets. We have the data sets available in our GitHub. You can simply go there and understand what type of data sets we are using inside the Excel and learn it accordingly. Perfect. Having said that, I can see over here, this is steps has been followed over here. Executive summary is done. Okay. KPI cards for this. Okay. Live leadership insights, 3 charts. Okay. So let's see if it is really generated over here. And these are the formulas has been applied over here. Perfect. And let's say done over here and close this. Cool. And if I go at the bottom, I can see how beautifully has been presented over here, folks. Cool. If I go at the top here, this is the S&P. I'll just move this and make it big because this is what I want. And I'll just make sure that this one is in center. Perfect. And again, it's coming again a formula driven, folks. We are not really adding that as a manual. Certain things are manual over here, but those are again a formula driven. As and when you open this particular thing, it will automatically get refreshed over here. Perfect. So S&OP, which is your supply chain and operations capacity tracker executive summary over here. Okay, or maybe you can call this as a dashboard as well. That's completely fine. Complete your call. It's completely your dashboard, folks. Okay, how you want to use it, you can use it as per your convenience, folks. Cool. And here I can see these are not really bold. I'll select this. Let's make it bold. Cool. And here I'll select this. Let's say this. Okay, so these are in open action, so that's what the color code is different. So we'll not really change that color code, we'll keep that as it is. I'll select this and let me just do a italic over here. And since these are the digits for me, these are the KPI cards for me, I'll increase the font size over here. Okay, perfect. This data available over here. Cool. If in case you want to add this as a different color code over here, you can simply do that as well. Okay, so here I'm just doing this. Okay, so let's do this as well, and here as well, something else. Perfect. And let's go at the bottom. This is the leadership insight. So as and when you are on the bi-weekly call or weekly call, wherever you want to speak to a leaders, exactly the status of your capacity tracker, that time you can take the reference of this leadership insights, which is demand profile, plan alignment, execution risk, and concentration over here. Okay, and that's how the write-up has been given over here. Again, don't blindly go with the AI context, whatever AI is giving, and you are just doing that. Simply understand what type of formula has been applied over here. Okay, and if that logic is really working, whatever data set you have it over here, right? Basis that only take the decision. Otherwise, don't directly blindly follow that. Okay, that's the basic request from my side. I'll simply go here and I'll switch this to this. Okay, and I can see the chart has been changed over here. If I want to keep this, I can simply keep this as well. Okay, complete your call, whatever chart you wish to change it. If I want to change this to something else, okay, so I can simply go here and let's keep it like this and hit the OK button over here, and I can see my S&OP plan alignment. I can see it like this over here, right? Action pipeline requests are this many. If I go at the bottom, these are the station exposure where I can see delivery stations. Okay, what are the requests? Again, all are the formula driven, folks. Okay, it's an open file. You don't have to go and manually and apply the formula. You don't have to rehearse the any kind of a formula. It's a all formula driven. Okay, done by the Copilot itself. You just have to simply give a appropriate prompt and your requirement. Okay, and you will get the result there. Said that, now I'll move ahead. Let's add the next sheet over here, and suppose I want to add or maybe track ad hoc changes. Okay, I'll simply add this tab over here now. Okay, date, delivery stations, slot time, current capacity, new capacity, change, units impacted, S&P capacity, S&P variance, action, priority, and TT number over here. So basic information, I'm just using this over here. Okay, so let's do a control C over here and add this to values, and then let's say transpose over here, and I'll delete this from top over here. And when I say ad hoc request, so I have to mention that it's a ad hoc request over here. Okay, now you might have a questions why we haven't added that initially. Okay, why we are doing this now? Because whenever we were creating a dashboard, okay, ensure that you are giving the prompt appropriately. Keep only one data set at a time, so your AI will not get confused. Okay, so it will not hallucinate. So that's what we have kept. First, our capacity tracker, we generated our dashboard. Okay, and after generated, we are creating a ad hoc request over here. Okay, so now once the ad hoc request is, this titles are added over here as promised. Okay, we are going to add a couple of entries over here. And what are the entries? So let's say these are the dummy entries. Okay, so this is the just a dummy entries I'm just adding over here. So simply to save our time, I have just now pasted this data set over here. What I will do over here is I'll just delete this, okay, the top rows, which I don't really require. And once I do that, I can see this dummy entries I have plotted over here, and this is how beautifully the result will look like for me. Okay, again the same story, you have to go here. Okay, if I go here the text content over here approved, so let's say approved is in green for me. I'll say green. Pending is a, this time I'll just say amber. Okay, so let's say amber, and let's say yellow over here, which is my amber. And implemented, okay, so implemented, you can keep that as it is, that's completely fine. Okay, because multiple greens will not really look good over here. But escalated, okay, the escalation kind of thing, you have to make sure that you are marking that is in red over here. Okay, so let's say okay over here, and I can see the escalated has been red over here. Perfect. Likewise, a similar fashion, you have to apply it over here, which is your low, critical, and medium accordingly. Okay, I'm not really going to do that because we already explained this in the capacity tracker over here. If in case you have joined just now, folks, you just have to rewatch this video, okay, and see it how we have applied this conditional formatting over here. Here, the variance we can show you. Let's press Control 1 over here, go to number, and here I'll select this option. Perfect. Here again I'll just select this, okay, and simply select this too, and let's say okay button over here. Boom, you see how beautifully this option is works over here. And I'll just do a centrally align. Okay, and that's how beautifully we have created this. Perfect. And that brings us to the end of our supply chain capacity tracker. We started with a raw operational data, and we have now transformed into a three powerful views over here. First is the executive dashboard over here, giving management a quick view of capacity impacted orders and S&P variances. Second, the capacity tracker, which is your this, where we can drill down into individual delivery stations and time slots. And finally, ad hoc request view, helping the operations team to identify changes that needs attention and take actions quickly. The real power here is not just a Excel, it's turning operational data into a decision making tool. Because when capacity changes, you don't just need to know what changed, you need to know what it impacts, where it impacts, and what needs to be happen next. If you found this real world Excel project useful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Discover Talent, and let me know in the comments what supply chain tracker or dashboard you would like me to build the next. Signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.